right. I'm not sure what's going to do the trick here. New toys in here today. I don't think I'll be able to use my mic with one of my toys. So basically, I have two cameras going. Um, for one of the pieces of recording equipment I have, which is this camera here, which is kind of like a built-in paparazzi. It's Bluetooth to my device, so I can't connect to my wife. But we'll figure some of those things out. Like I said, progress is not always tidy, right? So tonight's recording is going to be lower body, but because we missed intervals yesterday, I'm also going to just incorporate a few power movements. Plus, I've been doing besides going to school and doing some other things, I've been looking into some research about women's exercise science. And basically, if you are either perimenopausal, meaning you're starting to go through hormonal changes, or you are menopausal or postmenopausal, you really need to be incorporating some sort of power movements into your workouts to stimulate bone growth and lean muscle mass growth. Um, so we're just going to add in a little tiny bit of that tonight, and also because I missed yesterday, so so get in a few more calories. So tonight, all you're going to need is one object or weight that is, I'd say light to medium. And in fact, I forgot to grab mine, so let me grab that real quick. And you'll see that I don't know if you saw it, but my camera tried to follow me. All right. And I'm back. And so the paparazzi is following me. I'm trying to get used to it. So I have a medicine ball here that I'm going to use. You can use one object. I would say something medium weight, 10, 15, maybe 20 pounds at the most. We're going to mostly hold it with two hands today. So let's go ahead and start down on the floor, on your back, and we are going to start with just some warm-up bridges. So feet hip distance apart, shoulders pressed into the ground. Actually, before we do the bridges, let's do a couple of tilts, just warm up that kind of lower spine. So I want you to tuck your tailbone, pull your belly button way in, and then I want you to push your belly button way forward. Don't make it painful. Push your backbone down, tuck your tailbone in. Now push the tailbone down and push your belly button forward. Two more like that. Push. And then one more. And push. Now find the neutral. Hopefully you mobilized your spine just a little bit there. Hands on the floor, shoulders back. Press your feet down into the ground and let's bridge up and down. So lift hips and ribs at the same time. Lower hips and ribs at the same time. I can't tell if the Zoom camera is seeing me, hopefully. It's kind of weird. I feel like I have lots of people in the room watching me. Keep going. Lift up. Now when you lift up, I want you to feel your feet pressing down into the floor, your shoulder pressing down into the floor, shoulders and your abs flexing to keep your lower back from rounding. So that's the tension here in the midsection is what's keeping the hips and ribs in line as you move. Just warming up those glutes. Hold it at the top. Take your hands and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Push your arms down into the ground and push your feet down into the ground and just hold for just a few seconds there. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the hands, lower the torso, and now bring the knees towards your chest. Now, if it doesn't feel good to do 2 at one time, just do 1 at a time here. All right? So what I'm going to do with these two recordings tonight, if I can, is I'm going to post both of them. And I want you guys to give me feedback on the one that follows me. All right, take one leg straight out. Oh, it's following my legs, I see. And keep that other knee, so reach that foot away from you. And then we're going to keep our abs tight, switch. Stretch that foot far away. Good. Bring the knees in. Take the arms out wide. Lower the knees to one side. Nice big stretch across that waist there. Deep breath. Pull the knees in. Let's go to the other side. So keep the feet close to you. Keep the knees close. Let the hips turn. All right. Roll over onto your stomach. And here, we're going to press the hands down into the floor. Press the forehead down into the hands. Turn your toes outward. Click your heels together. And now let's just bring those heels close to you. And then push them away and try to squeeze your thighs straight at the end. So pull them in and pull them close. Extend and extend the legs. So your heels do come apart at the end. So push them away and then extend through the thighs. So again, we're warming up glutes here, but we're also getting some hamstring work. We're getting some quad work there. Working on a little bit of external hip rotation right here. Good. Turn your toes so that your feet parallel to each other. Put one foot down and reach back. See if you can find either the shoe or the ankle. Roll the shoulder back and draw that heel a little closer. Switch sides, straighten, bend the other one. Ankle, shoe, roll your shoulder back. Draw that heel a little closer to your bottom. All right, let the feet go. Push up into a tabletop stance here. And now, keep it working up, right? So you're in a tabletop stance, hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. I want you to extend the leg, tap it over without moving the hips, reach it out without moving the hips, and bring it back in. And then we do the other side. So it's out, cross over without moving the hips, reach out, and bring it in. So out, cross the midline, reach out, and bring it in. We're still warming, but we're also mobilizing those hip joints, working through some of those ranges of motion. And remember, we have power movements to do today, so I want to make sure that we've got a nice warm hip socket there. Cross, tap, and in. Out, over, out, and in. One more each side. Keep the shoulders square, keep the abs tight. Warming up those inner and outer thighs. Good. Stretch back. Reach back with the hips. Lift your chest up. Step one foot forward. Now keep both hips square and bring both hips forward. Continuing to warm up here, tuck the back toe under and stretch that back leg long. Lift your abs up into your body, squeeze that back thigh really strong and straight. Now lower the knee down with control. Sit up, go forward again. So first the body, press into your front foot, lift your back knee off, squeeze it straight, lower with control, sit up. 2 more just like that. Tip, abs tight, push into your front foot and your back foot, lift that back knee. So we don't want that back knee really loaded. We want to push into the back heel and the front heel to make that back knee a little light, right? So tip forward, now we're pushing into both feet. Now the knee lifts without too much resistance. It's work, but it's not too much resistance. All right, switch legs. So hopefully not only are we getting a nice stretch through the hip there, also getting a nice warm up for that thigh. All right, ready? So first chest is up, bring both hips forward, feel the stretch in the hip flexor. Ooh. Never hurts to work on mobility, right? And in fact, at the end, we have a mobility drill. So tuck the toe under in the back side, lean forward, push into your front foot and your back foot. Now lift that back knee off. With control, lower the back knee, keep pushing into your feet. Come off it a little bit. 3 more like that. Forward, push into both feet. Lift. And it really is a lift. It's not a push off. Your abs are really tight. And you're using the power up from the floor to lift your hips off the ground while you straighten out that back leg. 1 more. Whew, I'm getting hot. Tip forward, push into both feet, lift. Good. Lower down. All right. Come on up. Roll the ankles, whatever feels like it needs it. Roll the hips if you still feel like you need it. And you're going to grab your weight. So first things first, you've got your, whatever it is in your hand, I want you to keep it really, really close to you. And we're going to start with just a balance drill. So shoulders back, take your left toe, put it on the floor behind you, but just barely hovering off the floor. Now if you need to, you can bend that back knee a little bit, or you can really squeeze that back leg straight. Now I want you to tip over as far as you can without your hip turning to the side, and then come back up without doing anything with this leg, right? So if you feel the muscles suddenly, if you feel another set of muscles suddenly take over, that means you rotated your body somewhere. Got 3 more to do. Oh. Keep that back leg straight as you can. Keep engaging that glute. Keep pushing into that right leg. 2 more. Ooh, warming up that lower leg and definitely warming up that hamstring. Balance. 1 more. And we're going to switch. Ooh. Right leg on fire. Stand on your left leg. Point that right toe out behind you. Squeeze the glute on your right side. Shoulders back. You're just holding on to that weight close to you. Here we go. So tip over only as far as you can without rolling that left hip outward. So what you should be feeling is quite a bit of work up the left side of the body, up through the calf, the ankle, up to the hamstring, maybe even up to the hip if it's tight up there. Don't try to go any lower. Don't try to tip over any further than you can go due to mobility in the hip or maybe a little weakness or twinge in the lower back. We don't want to feel our lower back doing this. We want to feel our glutes, our hamstrings, our calves, and there's definitely some ab work going on too. All right, so shake that out. Now let the weight drop down. We're going to continue to work on the back of the body here, but we're going to do it with both feet on the ground. So let your weight hang down straight in front of you, okay? shoulders are backing down and you're kind of squeezing your arms straight, if that makes sense. Tip over at the hip as though you're trying to slide your weight down between your knees and set it on the floor, and then stand up. So let's slide down and stand up. Slide and rise. So I can do this with absolutely no weight at all and still feel work. How do you do that? You push your hips back, making a strong L at the hip, right? The weight's kind of a counterbalance, and then I drive my feet down into the floor, and I stand up. Full hip extension at the top, squeezing my glutes, squeezing my quads, and squeezing my abs. Keep going. Keep those abs nice and tight. That's what's supporting the lower back when you tip over. Almost there. For 5. Got to check on my cameraman. 4. So if it starts feeling easy, make sure you're still pushing those feet down as you stand up instead of pulling up with your back. All right. Tip back over, tuck one toe back, right? So now we have all the weight on one side. And let's stay in that 3/4 range. 3/4 range. So you're not coming to full hip extension this time. Woo! That should be hitting the hamstrings. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Tip over again. Step in. Other toe back. 3/4 range. 3/4. So now we have more back and ab work going on because we're hanging out in that sort of hinged hip position. But now we are really not giving those hamstrings a break here. Push the hip back, feel the stretch, and then push the foot down. Don't stand all the way up. Ooh. Both hips are square. 4 to go. Oh my goodness. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take your feet wider apart. Now, instead of hip distance, they're probably a little bit outside shoulder distance. You've still got your weight in your hand. Now, if you need to do this without weight because your lower back, it kind of talks to you, or you're not quite sure about the movement, take the weight away first and then try it later with the weight. So arms are straight, but not forced straight. The weight's just hanging. You're going to tip over at the hip, letting the hands come to the inner thigh. Then you're going to squeeze your hips and let your hips propel that weight forward. So it is a snap. It's a squeeze of the glutes, right? Now we don't have very heavy weight today. So we can be a little more explosive. Push those hips. You got to brace your abs as hard as you brace your hips, your glutes, so that we keep from arching our low back. Keep going. Now, if you want more, hinge more. But chest never gets lower than the hips. Keep going. We have 10 more. Three, 2, 1. Woo. Okay. We're going to do another round of that. Now, if you know you need heavier weight on this, grab it. Feel free. If you know you need less weight on this because you're feeling your low back, get rid of the weight. All right? Whew. Let's start over. Okay. Starts with the balance. which is going to be harder now that we've worked. So, weight close to your chest. If you find yourself rounding forward, get rid of the weight and put your elbows out wide. So, left toe back, squeeze your bottom. Remember, you can soften, but just make sure that knee is not going forward and back. Here we go. Tip over. Oh, see? All right. Big toe, pinky toe, and heel are all on the ground. Ugh. If I look at the camera, I tip over. We're only doing 5 on each leg, so make sure they're really good. Don't cheat it. Go as low as you can go without changing your body position, keeping your body as extended as it can be. Ooh, hello hamstrings. Good, we got to switch. Just in time, my toes are on fire. Right toes out the back, shoulders back. Sorry for this camera over here. See my game room table, it's all good. We're working on space still. Progress is messy, right? That's my saying for 2021. Progress is messy. But at least it's progress, right? Squeeze your bottom, shoulders, hips, square. 5 of these. So these are all very hip-driven movements, which means we are really hitting those glutes, hitting those hip stabilizers. One more. Awesome. All right, let the weight drop down. Whew. Push the arms a little straight. Your feet are hip distance apart now. Roll your shoulders back. Now we hinge. So now we tip at the hip as though we're putting the ball between our feet, or the weight between our feet, and standing. Make that L with your body. There's no bending down the spine. It stays the same the whole time. If it gets tired from the weight, get rid of the weight and maybe do this with hands here. Push the hips back, squeeze to stand up. Make that L. Stand up. Push, rise. So what I want you to feel is a stretch down the hamstring when you push back and a squeeze of the hamstring and glutes when you stand up. So you're not lifting up with your arms at all. The way I could do this with my fingertips. My biceps are not flexing in any way, shape, or form. I've got a little tension between my shoulder blades because that's actually what's supporting the weight, is my back. If it gets to be too much, we get rid of the weight. 3 more. One more. Good. Tip over with or without the weight, it's up to you. Kick the right toe straight back while we're tipped over. Now we're in that 3/4 range. So down 3/4. Keep the hips square. Hit those hamstrings. Ooh. Come on. One more. Good. Tip over. Step in. Switch. Hopefully your hips stay still. Stay facing forward. 3/4 range. Now if you're like, I don't feel a single thing, probably means you're not getting an L. You're getting like an L forward. I want you to push your hip back away from your chest and only come up 3/4 of the way. Ooh. You should feel weight in that heel. 4 to go. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All the way up. Ooh, one more hip one. We have the swings. If you don't like the weight, you can do this just by clasping your hands, folding, squeezing, folding, squeezing. We've done those before. All right. Weight long, but you're not pushing it. It's just hanging. Shoulders back. Feet a little wider on this one. Here we go. We've got 30 to go. Here we go. Swing, squeeze. Now watch that you don't push your knees out to the side. So if your knees are popping out to the side, just step the feet a little wider. Flex the abs, flex the quads, squeeze the glutes at the top. Fingertips hold on to that weight. Don't let it go flying. Halfway there. Hang in there. Keep those abs tight. Five to go. Whew. All right. Okay. That's our hip-driven exercises. Now we've got to go for the knee-driven exercises. I bet you can guess which ones those are. They only come in a couple of shapes and sizes. So it's going to start, catch your breath, it's going to start with a lunge. Now I know lunges are not for everybody's knees. I get that. So remember, you have an option, right? If you don't like the lunge, you can be in this loaded stance, right? So rather than maybe going up and down, you're going in and out. You're still kind of coming up and down on this knee a little bit, but only to the extent that you can tolerate it. Okay, right leg forward. No more talking about it. We got to do it. Put that left leg back. Your feet are hip distance apart, and your hips are square. Your weight's here at your chest. Your elbows are tucked in, and your abs are tight. Your back heel is up, and your front foot is pressing into the ground. Now we're going to bend that back knee and rise. So if you're doing the loaded stance, you're down and in, down and in, right? Back knee bending if you're lunging. This is actually called a split squat more so than a lunge, but some people call it a stationary lunge. Make sure your big toe is staying on the floor on that front foot, and make sure your back heel is staying up on that back foot. Your abs are tight, and your hips are dropping straight down. Keep going for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step in. Ooh, I know. Since we did the back side first, we're feeling it, aren't we? Okay, so right leg back, heel up, load that left leg, all 5 toes of the left foot on the floor, weight up. So you're either tapping in or bending that back knee down. Here we go. Down, up. Now I want you to put tension here rather than around that back knee. I know your back thigh is tight because we just used it, right? So try not to clench up around that knee. Let the knee flex. So that means you got to clench up here to stay stable. I know. I feel it too, don't worry. Keep that back heel lifted. Keep your shoulders back. Straight down, straight up. 5 to go. Bend your back knee. Let it bend. Let it hinge. Good. Step in. Woo. All right. So that's a lunge. What else we got that's knee driven? Yep. It's a good old squat. Now, squat is both knees and hips. but it's really more knee driven, depending on how wide your feet are. So the narrower your feet are, the more this is going to be knee driven. The further your feet go out, the more range you're going to be able to have. It's going to involve more hip. So I'm going to start with my feet in kind of a mid stance, just barely outside my hips. I'm going to put my ball, my weight up here by my chest. You can hug it, you can do whatever you want. Just make sure that you're able to keep your shoulder blades back and down. Now let's go. So push your hips back and bend your knees until you feel like either I have to kind of arch my lower back or I have to drop my chest to go lower. So down and up. In this stance, narrower stance, or even narrower if some of you want to, we're not going to be able to go as low, which puts more emphasis on the front of the legs and therefore on the knees. I'm not saying your glutes aren't doing anything. So if your glutes are like, hey, I am actually working back here, tell them, we know, you did a lot of work already. So thank you for helping us do this. Keep going for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to add a little dynamic to it. So if you want to take the ball away or the weight away here, you can, or you can let it hang down. We have 1 in the middle, and we have 1 to the side. And we have 1 in the middle, and we have 1 to the side. 1 in the middle, 1 to the side. Middle. Now you'll notice, likely, that on those wider ones, you can drop lower. That's just going to give you more range. It is going to involve a little more glute, but it also involves more knee, right? We get lower, we get more knee bend. Keep the chest up, keep the elbows pointed down. If you're starting to feel your back more than anything else, get rid of your weight. Keep going, keep going. Chest and eyes forward, abs tight. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, get rid of your weight. No weight on this one. I promised you some power movements. So, 2 options. If you need both feet, if you're not good, if it's not so great on your lower back, to do single leg, I want you to do here to here with some explosiveness. You can also add the jump to that. If you're able to do it, I want you to switch. The more lunge you get, the more plyometric that's going to be. All right, so whatever you're doing, we have 30 of them. All right, ready? And let's go. 1, 2. I want you to pause at the bottom. Abs tight. Now what if you want to do the lunges, but you don't want the jump? So just make maybe a little switch. Use your hands for momentum. Halfway there. Balance. 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Quads. Catch your breath. exactly the type of explosive movements that we need to stimulate bone replacement and lean muscle replacement. We have to give our body a little nudge. It doesn't mean you have to push past what your joints, what your body, what your heart is able to do. It just means you do have to push a little bit, but it doesn't have to be crazy. All right, whew. Back to the beginning. So, we'll shorten it down a little bit in the interest of time here. Oh, why? Why did I start with these? So, you either have the tap ins with the hip moving slightly up and down, or you have the stationary split squats or stationary lunges. Pick a leg. All right, chest up, weight up if you've got it. Let's go. 15. All 5 toes down on the front foot, back heel lifted. You guys know I'm terrible at counting, so I think that's 6. So at the top, I don't want you to straighten that front leg. Keep those abs tight, and if your weight is balanced, you probably won't be able to straighten that front leg. 3 to go. 3, loosen up that back knee. 2, and 1, step in and switch. Heel up. 5 toes on the floor in the front foot, shoulders back, let's go. One side's always better than the other, but just make sure both hips are pointed in the same direction. So that outside, that back hip is not turned out or turned in. Put your hand on it. See if that hip bone is facing forward. The weight is really just to remind you to keep your chest up. This is 10. 5 to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step in. Good. We've got those narrow squats. Sorry, let me fix my timer really quick. So, narrow for you might be feet really close together, or maybe just a smidge further apart. Chest up, let's go. 15. Down and up, down, up. So you're folding like an accordion. The hips always start the motion, and then the knees just respond, right? They go forward, hips go back. Abs are nice and tight. Pull those shoulder blades down and back. 5 to go. Here comes the dynamic, 1 in the middle, 1 to the side. You can let your weight hang, maybe pick it up in the middle. This feels natural to me, but do what feels natural to you. Get rid of it if you have to, but keep that chest facing forward. Halfway there. Come on, hang in there. 6 to go. Four to go. 2 more. Whew, get rid of your weight. Okay, power round. You have double feet, swing and reach, or swing and jump. Single leg, you have switch, or you have jump, right? There's 30 in total. Catch your breath. I'm huffing and puffing. All right, choose your poison. I think I'll do the jump squats this time. Get ready. We've got 30 of whatever it is. And 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Bend your knees. That's the whole point. Push off the back side. Halfway there. Bend your knees. Less than 10 to go. 5 to go. Woo! High fives. Catch your breath. That's it for the work. Catch your breath. Walk around. If your heart's beating really hard, you might need hands up. All right. Take a breath. Shake out your shoulders. You might have had them tensed, holding onto that weight. Whew. Now when you're ready, take your feet wide, settle some weight on your thighs here, and push one shoulder forward. Keep breathing. This shouldn't constrict your breath. So kind of let your weight fall right there into your shoulder. Stretch down the side of your body. Let's go the other way. Ooh. All right, turn your toes forward. Hands here, here, or wherever feels good, and push your hips back. Now you notice, for me, my knees are a little bit bent here. If you want a little more, keep your head up, but reach your fingertips down. The reason you keep your head up is because our heart rate's probably still kind of high. So if we drop our head below our heart, it's not going to be good. Keep pushing the hips back. Hello, puppy. Are you going to be in the video with me? He's cleaning the salt off. All right, go on. Take your knees down to the floor. Look out, buddy. Push back. I think we're going to get a JJ sighting there. Push those hips back. Now here comes that little mobility drill that I promised you. Have a seat on your bottom, and this is where we'll finish. So you might stay and play with this for quite a while, but I'm going to show you the basics of it, and then you just take it wherever you want to go. If your legs are too tired for it, maybe try it later. So feet are hip distance apart. Put your hands back behind you, and now just swish your hips, your knees to one side, right? So if you're going to the left, your right knee ends up about at your heel, something like that. In the zoom camera, it's hard to get far enough away. Now, when you push over, try pushing this bottom hip through just a little bit. Good. So as you swish over, try pushing that top hip through just a little bit. This might be enough for you if you're really tight through the quads and hips. If you want to try a little more, try keeping your chest up instead of leaning back, right? And if you want just a little more, as you come over, try pushing up onto your knees. Can you see that? So sit down, use your abs to lift your upper body, use your hips to turn your legs, and then push into both knees and use your glutes to get a final stretch on those hips. Now some of you might even be able to hold a weight doing this. I'm not going to do that right now. I keep scooching closer to the Zoom camera. I'm going to do a few more of these, and this is where I'm going to leave you guys. So feel free to play with this. This is called a shin box. Really, really great for opening up those hips in all directions, actually. Play with it. If this is too much, go back to where you were before. Maybe you just start with those windshield wiper knees and work your way up as your hips become more mobile. Let's do one more each way. Keep that chest up. Whoa, that's hard. Do you have one that's harder than the other? Sit back and sit up. Awesome. All right. You guys rocked it. Okay, so I'm going to post both of them. I'd love to hear your feedback on this one here where the camera is following me. I'd love to know what you think about that. Also, don't pay attention to the YouTube channel yet. I haven't branded it or fixed it up or loaded it up. I just figured out basically how to do it. So we're still working on that. Have a great night. Let me know what you think about the workout. Bye.